Hello, everyone. In case we haven't met, I'm Luis Flores in Microsoft Edge. And yeah, very happy to be here in WebPer working group call. Just wanted to have some discussion around this proposal that we were presenting at Blink a couple of weeks ago. Um, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a overview, what we're trying to do, a little bit of why maybe, and really interested to get some thoughts as to whether this makes sense and possibly what might be some of the things to consider for some of the challenges that we're thinking. And so we're having our stab at performance of iframes. And then I'm going to actually skip a bunch of this and just go straight to the different scenarios that we have. So we work with different product teams in Microsoft, and then a lot of times they have scenarios where they are embedding different applications. Say, for example, Teams is embedding OneNote. We have things like widgets embedding different content. And what we've come to see a lot of times is that the performance of the iframe and all the thing that's going on in there is really having an impact to the whole experience of the application that's embedding them. And so this usually requires a lot of very close collaboration to try and find the issues and then work on the solutions for those things. Yeah, and part of the issue too is that even when the host application can already be doing all it can for optimizing its own performance, it really has no control over the performance or behavior of the iframe. So imagine you have the document already doing things like using performance hints, Lighthouse, and then all of these different technologies and tools that are already available just to have this iframe come and dynamically load something like an image of 2 megs, which at least as far as I understand, is not something that they can stop right now. And so what they really want, what we've been hearing, is that they would like to have 2 things, which is some degree of monitoring to know what's going on, but also to have some control over the overall user experience. And then also they will prefer if this could be managed for them, because just given the complexity of their own performance, it gets even it becomes even a bigger challenge when they have to consider also the performance of the embeddee. Yeah, so what we're suggesting, or what we're thinking of, the way that we're trying to address this is really taking a lot of inspiration from existing efforts, and in particular from never slow mode and document policy. And basically what we're trying to do is take the different patterns that are identified in never slow mode as the things that are impacting perf, and then map them into categories, and then hook those up to document policy configuration points so that they can be applied to the embedded frames, and then have these restrictions applied to the frames through that mechanism. And so I guess I'm not sure if we're all familiar with document policy, but maybe I can do a little bit of an overview. So document policy is just like a general mechanism proposed to apply policies to documents. And I believe the background for this is from permission policy, and the idea is to have this be an equivalent for anything that doesn't involve permission or security. And so some of the use cases from the explainer are things like, well, basically any configuration of features in the document, and also performance is definitely one of the examples that they're calling out as one of the primary potential use cases. And so basically the way it works is the document requests the browser to apply a given policy to itself, and this is done through headers. And whenever that policy is applied, there's the restrictions applied, and then if the restriction is violated, there's going to be a report. It also includes a way to have those policies be required for embedded resources. There's a pair of headers which will let the top document send those requirements on the request to the embedded document, and so the embedded origin has an opportunity to decide whether they agree and comply with required policy by asking the browser to apply this policy to themselves. If they don't, the embedded document doesn't load. If they do, then they load and the policies are applied. And so what we're trying to do is putting together those two ideas, which is basically the like I was mentioning. I lost the slide, but basically taking the patterns from never slow mode, putting them into categories, and then making each of those categories document policy configuration point. And so the ones that we have right now, or the way that we've grouped them, is in a way trying to go for the most simple general things into like the most basic level, so to say, because we also believe those will be the easier to fix for the embedded document. And so this is things like text resources compression, unzipped assets, and oversized assets. I think we can easily say these are things that we would want the embedded document to do for performance reasons, and then using document policy as a way to enforce that is basically the direction that we're thinking. We do have other 3 categories. We came up with these 4 configuration points or 4 categories. And so we have the first one, which is for those basic development practices. Then we have for script related, and especially during load. We are thinking of limits on the amount of JavaScript code served prior to user interaction, but also things like content link headers, animations running in non-compositor thread. And then we have, these are a little bit more challenging, I think, just because of either the idea of tracking things across the lifetime, or because they involve things that are not like, how to say, like, as like they depend on the device basically. But so for the third category, we're including things like total media usage, iframe count, iframe depth, CPU usage before first interaction, and then lastly, the last category is meant for more script constraints after load. And so this is long tasks, high CPU usage, and workers with long tasks as well. And yeah, so that's the overall idea of what we're trying to do. We do have a couple things that we identify as challenges, but I think before we even get to that, I would love to hear if there are any thoughts as to the direction that we're even trying to do, and maybe a little bit of a sanity check on this idea that we have.
Should we pause the